Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Then if we talk about SaaS, this is a complete things which we don't have to manage. As I said, we just go to online with any of the app. We just go to the browser and can access whatever we want. So you're completely on the cloud. You don't manage anything. Your cloud vendor will be maintaining, managing, and all that stuff will be taken care by the cloud vendor. Where you open AWS console from the browser, and from the browser you take care of all the stuffs. Okay. So that is where these are the services of your cloud computing model. Okay. Um, right. Some of the most popular cloud computing services in the market is AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. So if you wanted to learn about what they are different from, that's not an objective of us for us, but it's there in the slides. So I'll just share you the slides also. But if you wanted to go for it, you can compare them all together. So it's more over in this particular areas. It's more, these are the three vendors and they provide you with much more all similar kind of services with all the vendors. Your AWS acquires the market of 31%. So it's the completely taken, your market has been completely taken by AWS. From the cost of perspective is also very cheap. All others are also cheap, but AWS has been started from a very long period of time, and from 7 years it's been always on the top in the market. Services is going to be similar. Okay, they provide you a similar service on different cloud vendors, but they call it with a different name. Like in virtualization, if we talk about instances, one virtual machine in AWS will be called as EC2, which is Elastic Compute Service. Google platform will call it as a Google or Google machine or instance. In Azure, we can call it a Azure instance. So it's the name which differ, but the the working model or the services is going to be quite similar on that. So this is a kind of again, if you really want to compare them, you can go through with the slides, which I will share with you after the session, and you can compare them what's there and what's not. So if we compare them over here, we have what market they occur is, as I said, AWS occurs 32% of worldwide public cloud, Microsoft Azure occurs 16%, and it occurs Google Cloud occurs 9% of the market shares. Right. So these are the three which occurs at what time. They have they AWS has been almost taking care of all complete market, and it's been almost at the top from the last 8 years. Okay, then you have Google platform. When one time it has been launched 2006, it's been launched in 2010, it's been launched in 2008. That's the launch date. Availability zone, we'll talk about that on the availability zones. Just like availability zones, you can think of a data centers, like what data centers, how many data centers they have. So they have 69 availability zone. That means 69 data centers. That too with the 22 geographical location. That's like distributed in 22 geographical location. Soon they're going to have 12 more in the future. So in India, it is in Mumbai. So the data center of AWS is in Mumbai, and one is has been constructing right now, is under construction, and um, which will be on Hyderabad. So you will see that AWS have a data centers in Hyderabad, and there will be a lot of employment generated. On the other case, Microsoft has 54 regions worldwide and more, which has more than 100 data centers, and it is available across the countries of 140 across the globe. Right, and then Google platform has 200 plus countries across the globe. Okay, so that's like an availability zone where are the data centers zone of. Then pricing is like all the three clouds, as I said, based on work on. If we talk about specifically to price, then sorry, then three of the services, all three of the services, they work on users pay for what they use model. So whatever you use, you pay for that. That is the model all the three cloud vendors follows. So you just pay for what you use for. Okay, and a general pricing things has been listed on the screen. You can see that if we have an EC2 instances, virtual servers, I'll keep calling that EC2 instances, but let me give you this is a virtual service which is going to cost you around M5 X large will cost you around this, which we have BF4 MS. In Azure, it's going to cost you this. So pricing is quite similar and is low as the comparison. So then again, on different, as I said, name is gonna different. So in AWS, all the virtual servers are called EC2. Okay, Elastic Compute Service. On Azure, we in virtual servers in Azure we call them Azure VM. On Google Cloud, we call them GCP VM instances. So Google Cloud, private Google Cloud on VM instances. So we have a similar services available on different vendors, but their name varies. Okay, their name definitely it will vary because the vendors vary, so the name will vary as well. All right, I will keep that. I'll keep that PDF as in the source of learning for you guys. You can go to your portal later on after the training, and you will be able to see that. If not, do let me know tomorrow. I'll just share it again with the team. So you'll have that in your machine, and you can just scroll it up and can compare the services with. There are this is a comparison which has been provided. So right, so if you have other VM machine, if you have other things, how do you compare it? So it's a complete platform as a service what is been used as. If you talk about infrastructure service, what are the services? So it's kind of comparison between three of the vendors, and it's been more overly used. These are the three vendors which occurs completely all the market. So this is like a very better way to approach to the all vendors. But once you know one vendor, it's just like a programming language. You know one, Python, then it would be easy to you to grab Java, because the core concepts is not going to change. The core concepts is going to be similar, but functions or what they call it in a different language will vary. Similarly, on different cloud vendors, the service and the core concept is going to be similar, but they will call it with a different name. Okay, so this is about cloud computing, guys, and the model which we have, the advantages which we talked, and so on. Like we have different ways and different, um, what cloud computing looks like, and what is a different public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud, right? And then service model, IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Okay, and different vendors, and you can compare them. Okay, then again, I'll take over here a pause and we'll wait for your questions if you have any. If not, we'll move ahead.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Okay, so silence in the crowd stands for no questions. All is good then. All right, so so we talked about the advantages of cloud computing. We talked about what virtualization is, what are the models in cloud computing, what are deployment models we have, what we have as a service model in cloud computing, what architecture in cloud computing, which is like models in different areas, how it follows. So we talked about the advantages, but every service which comes in definitely will have advantage and disadvantage. It's just like a coin which has a two faces, so head and tail. Similarly, everything which comes in will have a advantage and a disadvantage. We talked about the advantages of cloud computing, um, but I would like to know from the crowd, do you guys think there is a disadvantages of cloud computing or any risk of cloud computing we should know um, before we drill into different providers, or we start with AWS stuff? Do you think that is there any disadvantage or security sorry, security risk on cloud computing? um, Anyone from the
Uh, yeah, Vasant, as I said, for the virtualization disadvantage, I mean, all of them are applicable to cloud as well.
hmm so risk of data confidentiality is
Yes.
there? Okay. And do you think one more disadvantage we have is depends on the internet connection?
You mean to say the zone availability?
Yeah, the
Me
internet
too.
is yeah is the internet is the only way, right, to do a cloud
Yeah,
computing. So
yeah,
when
yeah.
there is no
Yes.
internet connection in your place, the internet part to the cloud provider is in trouble.
Yes.
I think the connectivity and availability,
Sorry?
connectivity and availability would be,
Connectivity is an issue, but availability will be yeah. If you don't have an internet, you will lose the services, right? Yeah. From the point of compliance, do you think it's do we have issues on that? Do we have a risk on the from the point of compliance?
Yeah, we have a compliance also. So we need to configure IAM has secure has for best practices. So misconfiguration happens, then it will expose to data breach.
hmm
yeah,
Okay.
the security updates, yeah, it has to be patched every now and then.
hmm So I believe the with your answers in the crowd, I know people know a little bit about AWS. Do you guys know about like the last answer before Raksha who speaked up?
Yeah, it's me, Manikanta.
Manikanta, do you know what you talked about IAM? That give me an indication
Yes.
that you know a little bit on AWS. Or
Yep.
it's just like a general term you talked about.
No, actually, I started with it, but in between came. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, Jin. All right. Yes. So compliance issues are there. Um, One important issue I'll tell you on the vendors which I have faced with my experience is a technical problem related to the service. Sometimes they fail very silently, and that impacts your current running machines or current running scripts. And they fail silently. They don't make noise on it, and that's what I believe that's called a technical problem, um, besides in the cloud computing. And their customer supports actually takes charges if they really wanted to support you. So if you wanted to have a customer support things, they will charge you for that. So I think technical problem is there, and with many of the services with my experience. um, and yeah, and if your internet speed is slow, then also you will see that the cloud computing is not working as expected. Like they become slow as well, because all it depends on the internet. Okay. So yes, so we talked about cloud computing. What are the advantages? What are the deployment models? What are the services models? And how the infrastructure of cloud computing looks like. And so we talked about virtualization as well. But let's see. Do we have a difference between cloud computing and virtualization? Yes, both are a different, completely different concept, right? Cloud computing can have to be a cloud computing, as I said, is on-demand self-service. It has a broad network access, resource pooling, and everything, right? This is a complete different topic, right? It's a complete different path when you try to compare them. Virtualization can be a part of cloud computing. Cloud computing uses internally a virtualization, right? And if we talk about the comparison between that, or you wanted to decide which to implement for your business, depends on the type of business and the requirement you have, right? For smaller companies, as I said, for the budget things, you use a cloud computing, and it's easier and most cost effective to cost effectively to implement, and resources are accessed by the internet, so we don't have to maintain or add the things into the network. So many small businesses are turning to the cloud for applications such as customer relation management, host voiceover like VoIP, or offsite storage. The cost of using the cloud is much lower than implementing virtualization. So cloud computing also offers easier installation of application and in hardware, access to software they could otherwise afford. So the ability to try software before they buy it, right? So it's a small investment as comparison to virtualization. So virtualization, for a bigger for some businesses or for bigger organization, I would say virtualization is smarter choice and can help them in different ways. Like they can have adding many guests to one house to maximize resources, which means business needs fewer servers. Fewer server means fewer people to look after and manage servers. Virtualization is mean another layer of protection for business continuity, since virtual machines will limit the damage to itself, right? Which Kanan has given us a talk of. But both of the concepts has been completely different, and it's all depends on the requirement, what requirement you have, and on the basis of the requirement, you decide um, which virtualization, whether you wanted to go for a virtualization or a cloud computing. Okay, so these are the general talks which we talk about. So let me just share my screen again with one of just a moment. I'll take you to the TOC again.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Okay, so sorry. So we talked about what virtualization is. We talked about difference between virtualization and cloud computing. How does cloud computing models and infrastructure looks like? What models we have and how do we compare with premises and all that. So these are the very basic terms on the root section, root things which you need to know about before we go and look upon to one of the vendor, which is AWS. And we'll talk about and start with AWS. If you have no questions from the point of here, like these are the particular section we talked about. If you have questions from the selected one which you see on the screen, you can ask me questions. I'll take a pause over here. If not, we'll move to the next section.
Vasant, I have one question. Maybe it is irrelevant to this topic. As you said
Mhm.
that when comes to business, banking business, okay, so the data is very confidential, so they will not move to cloud and they will go for data center service. So
Mhm.
I would like to know where in I mean why they are fearing to go for cloud in a high level. I mean you understand the question, right?
Yeah,
In
yeah, I
which point
understand.
they are making not to go for cloud?
First of all, the fear is a sharing of data, right?
Okay, so
For example,
o-
yeah, yeah.
but
For
I mean, any cloud services provider, they are telling that your data is secure. Primarily, they will tell that your data is secure, right?
primarily they will. Do you know recent news which has been thrown out? One of the employee in Amazon leaked the customer data to the world. Like it was a news like last week.
Okay,
Amazon
okay.
employees
So,
leaked their customer data.
Okay, understood. Any other reason that they are not going? Because it's a employee of Amazon, right? Even if the data center employee, even we it belongs to the bank, infrastructure, the internal employee can leak it. That can
Yeah.
happen
So
anyway. Yeah, that's I agree. I
yeah,
mean, I'm not disagree to your point, but any other reason? I'm just trying to understand. If there is any
fear
other.
fear is with the concept of data sharing. They don't want to share their data. That's like, for example, as I said, banks. If you talk about we like in case of one of the bank is completely associated with AWS. I'll tell you the bank name is HSBC. So HSBC is completely agree with the concept which you said, and they agree that the data is not going to share and it's their private cloud, or they have used as a SaaS. So they believe that the data is confidential, and the other on the other end of the AWS is not going to share it. So it's completely a trust based relationship, just like your certificates, right? Some of the banks, for example, if you talk about the RBI or the SBI, this option has been given to them as well, but they deny it. Reason being the same, that they don't want to share. That's a mythology, because once you tell them that what's cloud computing is, hey, you don't have to worry, your all data will be taken care of by us. So when this statement comes into the picture, they fear it. Like, we will have our own data center instead of sharing the data. Some of, like, I'll talk about the one of the biggest bank in Middle East, which is a Arab National Bank. They started creating their own data centers, right? Instead of going to the cloud computing, they started creating their own data centers. They spent it a so huge amount of money because of fear. They have that fear that once you talk to anyone, what's cloud computing? We are going to take your data to the cloud. So once they know that it's something which they will not manage, which is a data which they will not manage, from the point of trust, they don't trust the vendors, and then they don't go for the cloud computing. It's
Understood.
nothing else than a trust. Yeah.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
But apart from that, Kanan, people are going it. Like your Netflix is on AWS. Your different streaming applications are Hotstar is on AWS.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
even your Prime is on AWS. No, not Prime is not on AWS. I think Hotstar is on AWS. Prime is on, I think, on Google and AWS both. Uh, yeah, Prime would be on AWS. One
So
of the other, like Sony. Yeah.
the organization decision is trust is the first
Yes.
priority to whether to take it up or not, the cloud service.
Exactly. Trust comes the first. So, media organization, there's streaming organizations where their media comes into a picture. They also have a huge stream data, and which is a very critical data. They trust cloud vendors and they provide it to the cloud, because they don't, when you work into media, you don't have good enough infrastructure teams and all that, who they don't want to spend on that on those areas. Instead, they choose to have a cloud as a vendor.
Okay. Okay.
So it's
You
all
have
it's
a
all
sir.
on trust. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you said that Arab National Bank is building their own data center. If
Yeah.
any cyber attacks or anything will happen, they will be it will be affected on their own business. In case any data center have 10 organizations, including with 10 organizations like SBI or anything, if it will affect on SBI, if it's possible to affect on others business, any data breaches or anything.
If any data
Because
breaches happens on cloud, yeah. If any,
yes.
okay. So if any data breaches happens on the cloud, does it impacts the other associated vendors on the uh, same model or not? That's the question, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Mujib. So it all depends, Mujib, which model you have gone for. Let's say you have gone for a deployment model of public, where you're going to use a public as a service, and then what will happen, because it's a public as a service. So if your data has been completely, let's say, on one of the data center hosted in Mumbai region, so you have an availability, all your data is on Mumbai. So if your all data is on Mumbai and Mumbai data center get lost, and you don't have you didn't choose the data recovery options, and in that data center, if it's natural disaster which has happened, and it's a public cloud public model which you have chosen, different vendors are also on the same. So all of those which have a data center around on the Mumbai region will be impacted. Yes. So if it's an SBI which is on the Mumbai region, they will impact. The others will also impact if one of the data center is lost. That's why we have that data recovery options. Once you turn on that data recovery options, your data is going to come, you know, um, replicated on different regions. So if you lost one data center, there is another data center from where you can grab the information back into it.
Hey viewers, our Master in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Oh, does this answer your question?
Yeah, thank you, Musa.
All right. So yeah, these are the topics which we talked about. And any further more questions, guys? You have? All right. A silence in the crowd stands for no questions. Then cloud computing um, and virtualization. Let's see and start with AWS IAM, and we'll see what the shared responsibility model looks like and the concept of AWS. Okay, so we are going to start with one of the vendor, which is AWS from the cloud provider. As you know, we have many, and 31% shares of the market has been completely taken by AWS. So we'll talk with AWS first. Okay, uh, so AWS, as I said, works on shared responsibility model. All right, so what does it mean? It means that the security things has to be equally shared. Some part we have to take care of, some part AWS will take care of. So the instances and virtual servers, updates of them, upgrades of them, those areas we have to take care. The serverless things where we don't have a control of, all the serverless services will be completely taken care by our security, scaling, maintenance, and all that stuff will be completely taken by AWS. So shared responsibility stands for where both of like the vendor and the user both have a responsibility of security and managing, uh, you know, managing the stuff in AWS. So in shared responsibility of AWS, we basically, as I said, some parts we have to make sure we are doing a security. Some parts public, our AWS will take care of the responsibilities. So we have cloud provider like Amazon, and we have end users. Both of the things um, will be the one which will be both of them have to take care of a security to provide or to give a secure cloud. So the cloud vendor basically manages and control the host operating system, virtualization layer, and the physical security of its facilities. To ensure security within a cloud environment, the customer configures and manages security controls for the guest and other apps. So from the security point of view, customer is responsible for encrypting data in transit and at rest. Okay, so all over on the customers, we are responsible, and we see some virtual servers from our end. We have to take care and protect some of the services from our end. So that's what we will be looking upon, because it's a shared responsibility. AWS follows up the shared responsibility model. AWS takes care of compute, database, storage, networking, regions, availability zone, edge locations, and they make sure that security is being maintained on the infrastructure level, on from their end, from their data centers, on the basis of compute, database, storage, networking, regions, zones, and edge locations. Whereas the customers, we have to make sure that the application, IAM, That's identity access management, operating system, network, firewall, configuration things. We are going to do traffic encryption, server-side encryptions, data integrity. The complete data integrity parts is what falls under as being a customer. It falls under us. So we have to make sure that we maintain security on those parts.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.